So I have a story for everybody. I'm actually going to tell you 3 stories today. I'll take you back to my early days in sales. Now, I'm a CPA. Hard to believe. Hard to believe? So I transferred into sales because I was a failure as a CPA. And I live in Philly. Is that okay? Yeah. I usually get a ooh. We're not like the football fans, like the ones you see. We're okay. The company I work for gave me a sales territory in the Midwest. So I went to Chicago. I know you have an office there. I'd visit Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota. And I had to get into my territory every single week. So I set up a schedule where I leave our house at 5 a.m., take a taxi to the airport, fly to Chicago, pick up an hour, and I'd leave 5 a.m. on Tuesday mornings, come back Thursday afternoons. So rinse and repeat every week, 5 a.m. Tuesday, come back Thursday afternoon, catch up on things Friday. I left at 5 a.m. because our infant son, Brett, at the time, and my wife, Laurie, they just started sleeping through the night. Somebody who has kids, nieces, nephews, grandkids, whatever, you know, do not interrupt that process. So it's a typical Tuesday morning. It's summertime. The screen door's open. I'm packing my bag. I'm watching the time. I get distracted. The driver comes and he rings the doorbell. I kind of sprint over the door. It's like 2 steps, a pretty small house back then. I gave him the high sign. My bag was outside. He just took it, started wheeling towards the taxi. I paused for a minute like I had x-ray vision. I looked through the ceiling. Laurie's asleep. Brett's asleep. Gently closed the door behind me. Now, I'm taking a taxi company called the Bennett Cab Service. Now, this was the 1990s, and if you can imagine what cars looked like then, I know a lot of you can't, just demographically, but picture a big white car with dents in the door, with the word Bennett kind of peeling off, maybe a hubcap here or 2 missing. So I'm walking down my driveway, 5 a.m., kind of half asleep, and the Bennett cab isn't there. This guy showed up in a London taxi in Philly. That was pretty cool. And to that point in my life, I had never ridden in a London cab. As I'm approaching the taxi, he held the door open for me. The other drivers would just kind of blow the horn or ring the bell. And he hasn't said a word yet. He closes the door. And I noticed several things that were very distinctive about this ride that has me here all these years later. First thing I noticed was it was really clean. Where's our New York City people? Remember New York City cabs? Ever riding those things? Don't touch the door pockets, right? And there's no hand sanitizer back when I rode these cabs. This cab was spotless, beautiful leather seats, not cracked plastic seats with duct tape everywhere. Did you ever notice they tried to match the duct tape to and then the colors never matched? No dispatcher, they had a radio system back then. No sports station, no traffic report. On the seat next to me, a little plastic bottle of water. Maybe this guy was the precursor to Uber, I don't know. I notice all that as he's coming around. He comes around, he gets in, and instead of just backing out of the driveway, he turns and introduces himself. He extends his hand across the front. He says, "Good morning, Ed. My name is Max. How you doing today?" As close as we could get to the real guy. For the next half an hour, Max learns an awful lot about me. He learns about my transition from accounting to sales. He understands I'm struggling at sales, thinking about going back to accounting. He learns about our infant son, Brett, how important it is for mommy and the baby not to be disturbed when the driver comes to the door in the morning. Here's what he was really great at: asking the next question in a relevant way to me. So here's the way the first ride went. And in all the years I rode with Max, our relationship was basically in the cab, the back of his head with a cap like that on, his hand and his eyes in the rearview mirror. He's been in 3 of my books. He's in every keynote. He's driving along. So what do you do? I'm in sales. What do you sell? Software. Where do you do that? In the Midwest. Typical questions that a driver could ask, and then normally they can't go any deeper. Here's his next question. I'd like you to comment on this one. Do you have a territory yet, or do you sell to named accounts? Or are you more of an account manager? I know. Where's our account managers? We have account managers in the room? You all know what that means, right? What do you think I'm thinking? I'm looking right at you. When a cab driver says to me, do you have a sales territory or do you sell to named accounts? You're an account manager. What's going through sales rep Eddie's head? Read my mind. I'm sorry? What's going through my mind when a cab driver asks that question? Do you have a territory or do you sell to named accounts? What do you think? What do you think I'm thinking about what he knows? He might have been in sales before, right? He knew something about sales. So collect your prize, okay? We'll get your prize. I have a territory, Max. Tell me about your quota. My quota, I've got one. Well, how is it constructed? What do you mean constructed? Well, how much of your business comes from new customers? How much comes from existing accounts? I said, well, Max, I'm supposed to be selling new business. I'm not doing really well. And I've really gotten kind of stuck with the customer equation. He interrupted. He said, I bet those existing customers are more profitable for your business. I just shared data with you from 2015 that said we're not even getting 50% of the potential from our customer relationships. A cab driver all those years earlier said the same darn thing. Why haven't we gotten any better? We need a cab driver to tell us this? And on and on and on, I'm sure more and more with Max on the way to the airport. We get to the airport, I give him a great tip. Max, that was awesome. I'll see you next Tuesday at 5 a.m. And that little smile you see on Max's face turned upside down. He said, sorry, Ed, I can't take you next week. Now, bubble thought above my head. WTF, Max, I just gave you a great tip. But what I really said, you know what WTF means, right? What I said was, did I offend you? Like, did I say something? No, I'm sorry, Ed. I have a lot of affairs, I have a lot of friends. They normally need a few weeks for me to work them into the rotation. The rotation? It's a 5 a.m. ride to the airport. You can't take me next Tuesday. I have a lot of friends that, hold on, Max, when are you available? Was Max selling or was Eddie the sales rep buying? Raise your hand if you like to be sold something. Raise your hand if you like to buy stuff. I can't give you all the prize, right? How do you, at Hello, no matter what your role is, create an experience where people are buying, whether they're clients or internal colleagues? If you're working with internal colleagues, you're selling ideas. Fair? You're looking for budget. You're looking for wiggle room. You're looking for negotiating. How do you create an experience unlike any other? So he wrote down, he gave me a Thursday for a prize. What was my schedule? He offered a Thursday. What was my schedule? First person. All right, give that person a prize. Tuesday, Thursday. He asked me to change my schedule around. By the way, it was the Thursday of Labor Day week. When he offered it, I said, I'll take it. That meant go to O'Hare Thursday, come back from O'Hare Friday. He went his way, I went mine. Fast forward 3 weeks. Baby's asleep, mommy's asleep. What do you think Max did not do when he came to the door? Gently tapped. He listened, remembered, and cared about the answers. We all learned in kindergarten to listen and remember. Customers like it when we care about the answers. Colleagues like it when we care about the answers. So it was my turn to do the interview. He did all the questions last time. I said, Max, who are these people? I had to wait 2.5 weeks. Please don't take it the wrong way. It's a ride to the airport. I think the London cab thing might wear off. And he was a humble guy. He was from Indiana. He said, okay, a lot of local executives ride around with me. Who else, Max? I pick their colleagues up when they come into town. Who else? Salespeople like you going back and forth. Now he's on a roll. Families go on vacation. The kids love to ride with Uncle Max. I'm like, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, children are afraid to fly sometimes. Parents are nervous. I try to make it fun for everybody. And I've become so busy, Ed, I started a tour business for elderly people in the nursing homes on the weekends. Who is this guy? Right? Who miraculously had an opening in his calendar that I couldn't get into? How does that work? Well, I'll take some friends. We'll go to the art museum on Saturday. I'll take some other friends to the historic district on Sunday. I interrupted. I said, Max, what's the secret to success? I'm struggling at sales. You have everything I want. You have a full pipeline. You have great cash flow. You seem to like what you're doing. You're not rushed. I need some of that stuff. I'll never forget. He held his fingers up this far apart, squinted in the rearview mirror, and he said, Ed, it's just little things. It's little extras that turn fares into friends. So I said, well, Max, Is it the London taxi? Is it the leather seats? Is it the bottle of water? Is the listener remembering caring about the answer, not ringing the doorbell? And on, and he answered yes. What do you mean by yes? I wanted a specific answer. What do you mean by yes? It's all those things, because we don't know what's going to connect with that other person.